Okay, we are on constant rate of change, page 41, and we are going to do two different kinds of rate of change. Today, we will be looking at tables. So if you also want to put that in the heading, please do that. Don't forget to put it in your table of contents, and then when you get your page set up, make sure you've got warm-up and vocabulary. All right, the warm-up, this is a small sheet of paper on your desk. Make sure you have it out. It says find the pattern in each table and fill in the blanks. I'm going to do an example with you real quick. Now you can write this down if you want to, or you can just watch and then complete it over here when you're ready. Okay, so if you notice right here it's going by ones. And then here my pattern goes from 0 to 6 to, well, if I go from 0 to 6, that means I'm adding 6 each time. So 6 plus 6 gives me 12, okay? And then 2, 3, well look, it jumped right here. You always have to watch for that. If there was a 4 right here, I would do 18 plus 6, and that would give me 24. But it jumped. So now I've got to do 24 plus 6, and the 5 spot would have 30. So you just have to make sure you can fill in the tables in those blank spots. Now I want you to go to yours and fill in each table. And when you get to the blank spots, make sure that you're checking your answers in the spreadsheet for those blanks. All right, our learning goal today, we're going to determine a constant rate of change using a table. And then your language goal is to explain to a friend how to find a constant rate of change using a table. All right, so you should have this vocabulary sheet in front of you. Let's fill in some of the vocabulary. It says a rate of change is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. In some relationships, the rate of change between any two quantities is the same. These relationships have a constant rate of change. So let's kind of see what we're looking at for today. We're looking at tables that are horizontal. We're looking at some that are vertical. And what we want to look at today is how they're changing. So what's that pattern? So we can look here to go from 50 to 100. It changed by 50. So make sure you're filling this in. From 100 to 50, to 150 is another change in 50. From 150 to 200 is another change in 50. Okay, so let's find the change on the bottom one. 1,000 to 2,000 is 1,000. 2 to 3,000, again changed by 1,000. 3 to 4,000, again changed by 1,000. Now it says label the diagram below with terms change in lines, change in dollars, and constant rate of change. Okay, so the top one, let's see here, it gave me 1,000. Let's see here, it changed in dollars. So we're going to put change, and I'm going to simplify it, in dollars. And then the lines, this was change in lines. And then the blank is $20 per line of programming code. Okay, so I need to figure out what is that last vocabulary term that I need to fill in right here. And it is constant rate of change. Rate of change. All right. Okay, so let's do an example together. So go ahead and get your note page out. It's just a small little page that should be on your desk. It's a little half sheet. Okay, it says the table shows the amount of money a booster club makes washing cars for a fundraiser. Use the information to find the constant rate of change in dollars per car. Okay, so at the bottom I gave you a sentence stem that you need to fill in. So I need to find the dollars per however many cars this is. Okay, so we always want to do, let me show you something. On a table you have an X and a Y value. And a constant rate of change, you want to do the change in Y over the change in X. Okay, so in any table that you see, X comes first, then Y, just like your alphabet. Okay, so let's look at our change in Y. What is it changing by each time? So it goes 40, and then it goes another 40, and then another 40. So my change in Y is $40 per, let's see here, number of cars. And you have to check to make sure these are all the same, because they changed some of them to trick you. Per 5 cars. Okay, and just like our unit rates, I want to find per car. So per 1 car, what's the cost going to be? So I want to simplify this. Okay, I can simplify this down by 5. And that leaves me with $8 per 1 car. So $8 per 1 car. Okay, I want you to do the same thing on your Got It page. And I'm going to give you a hint. Remember, it's X, then Y, X, then Y. Make sure you're setting up as a ratio, just like your unit rates. Change in Y over change in X. Okay, and then when you check it in your spreadsheet, you're going to want to check this value right here, just this value, because it should be 1 in this other value. So just check this value right here. Okay, looking back at our learning goal, determine a constant rate of change using a table, and explain to a friend how to find constant rate of change. Okay. It says after 1 hour, the Smith family has traveled 45 minutes. At 2 hours, they have traveled 90 minutes. And at 4 hours, they have traveled 180 miles. I think I said minutes up there. Create a table and find the constant rate of change. Okay, well, let's create a table. Anytime they give you information like this, always create a table. So you've got time, and then you've got, oh, I did have an oopsie daisy. All right, example B says, after 1 hour, the Smith family has traveled 45 miles. At 2 hours, they have traveled 90 miles. And at 4 hours, they have traveled 180 miles. Create a table and find the constant rate of change. All right, so I'm going to want to create a table to help me figure this out. Okay, so I've got time, and then I've got miles that they've traveled. Okay, so let's put this into a table. So at 1 hour, they went 45 miles, 2 hours, 90 miles, and then it jumps all the way to 4 hours, and they went 180 miles. All right, so now I want to find the constant rate of change. And usually when it jumps like this, I go ahead and put the in between. So if you notice the change right here, and to find change, you just subtract. Okay, if you notice the change, it's changing by 45 each time. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. So 90 plus 45 gives me 135 at 3 hours. Okay, so each time they're changing by 45 miles. And they're changing that 45 miles per 1 hour. So here's my X value, here's my Y value. I want the change in y over my change in x. Okay, so it changed by 45 miles per 1 hour. Okay, here it is, 45 miles per 1 hour, just like our unit rates we practiced last week. Okay, so on this one, on your got it, make sure you create a table. And when you do the constant rate of change, I want you to do it per 1 hour. 1 hour, okay? And then remember, you're only going to type in this value into your spreadsheet. Okay, the next got it. It says the table shows the number of feet walked given a certain amount of footsteps. Choose the set of values that would yield a constant rate of change. So you're going to have to take each one of these values and plug them in here and see if it gives you a constant rate of change. Is it changing at the same pace? But remember, if you look right here, it skips over 20. So make sure that you have the actual value for 25. And then you'll have to answer this one on your own. Okay, last part, your exit ticket for today. How would you explain finding the constant rate of change using a table to a student in the next class period or to someone that was absent today? Make sure you write in complete sentences. All right, good luck.